Hey, ever looked in the mirror lately and thought, where did this belly come from? Yeah, you're not alone. And no, it's not just the dryer shrinking your shirts again, though, hey, I've blamed that a few times myself. If you're over 60 and your midsection feels like it's expanding while you're doing everything right, this video's for you. Because belly fat after 60 is a whole different beast, one that won't budge with salad and sit-ups alone. Today, we're diving into the real reasons why seniors gain weight around the waist. These aren't your typical just eat less and move more tips. We're talking gut bugs, sneaky stress, and maybe even that nightly glass of wine. So stick around, because once you understand what's really going on under the hood, that belly might finally start behaving. Let's jump in. Number 1. It's not just about calories. It's about hormones. Here's the truth, plain and simple. The rules of the weight game change after 50, and no one sent us the memo. I remember when I first realized this wasn't just about eating less and moving more. I had cut my portions, skipped dessert, even flirted with that dreaded thing called kale, and yet my belt was still crying for mercy every time I sat down. I thought, is this just aging? But no, turns out it was my hormones quietly rewriting the playbook behind my back. See, when we were younger, we could eat a burger and shake and burn it off by just mowing the lawn. But now, thanks to cortisol, the stress hormone, insulin, the blood sugar gatekeeper, and shifting sex hormones like testosterone and estrogen, our bodies start behaving like paranoid doomsday preppers, storing fat right around the belly in case of some invisible emergency. Cortisol is especially sneaky. When we're under chronic stress, whether from life, lack of sleep, or just watching the news, our cortisol stays high. And guess where it loves to store fat? Yep, the midsection. It's like your body thinks you're running from a tiger, while you're just arguing with a printer. And insulin? That one's tricky too. As we age, we become more insulin resistant, meaning our bodies don't handle sugar as efficiently. That donut you enjoyed at 35, you burned it off by lunch. But now, at 65, that same donut is whispering, I'm just going to stay here on your belly, forever. So no, it's not just about cutting calories. It's about calming the hormonal storm, lowering stress, sleeping better, managing blood sugar, and maybe yelling at the printer a little less. 2. Your muscles are on vacation, and they took your metabolism with them. Let's talk about something no one warned us about. Sarcopenia. It sounds like a villain from a Marvel movie, but really, it's just the medical term for muscle loss with age. And wow, is it a quiet thief? One day you're lifting groceries, fixing things around the house, bending without effort. And then slowly, year by year, your strength slips away like socks in a dryer. You don't really notice it until suddenly your thighs feel like noodles and getting up off the couch becomes a mini workout. Now, here's the kicker. Muscle is what keeps your metabolism buzzing. It's like the engine under the hood. The more muscle you have, the more calories your body burns just by existing, sitting, breathing, watching those bird feeder cams on YouTube. But once that muscle starts to disappear, your engine slows down. You could be eating the same as always, same toast for breakfast, same sandwich for lunch, but now your body says, I don't need all this fuel anymore. And guess what? It stores the leftovers, right in the belly. I read a comment from a guy who said, I used to bench press 150. Now I grunt just opening pickle jars. That's the thing. Without realizing it, we start moving less, lifting less, and our muscles throw in the towel. But the good news, muscle is loyal. It may have gone on vacation, but it's willing to come back, if you call it. You don't have to become a bodybuilder. One man in his 70s shared how he started with wall push-ups and soup cans. Now, a year later, he's lifting actual weights and lost over 15 pounds of belly fat. He joked, I finally found my abs again. They were just buried under 30 years of nachos. 3. Cardio alone won't cut it, but it's still great for your heart. Now this one hits home because I used to be a proud power walker. Every morning I'd hit the trail with my headphones in and arms pumping like I was auditioning for the Senior Olympics. I felt good, sure, but my belly? It wasn't impressed. I remember reading this comment from a frustrated woman. I walked 5 miles a day and the only thing that got smaller was my patience. That was me. And I didn't get it. Walking is good, right? And yes, it is good. For your heart, your joints, your mood. But when it comes to belly fat, cardio by itself is kind of like trying to mop up a flood with a paper towel. It helps a little, but you need to shut off the faucet. See, cardio doesn't do much to build muscle. It burns calories in the moment, but once you stop, the burn stops too. Strength training, on the other hand, it keeps your metabolism elevated for hours after you're done. It's like planting a fat-burning furnace inside your body. Even better, when you combine cardio with resistance, like short bursts of movement followed by strength, aka Hyatt or circuit-style training, you tap into a sweet spot for blasting belly fat. Your body becomes more insulin sensitive, your hormones balance out, and your belly finally gets the memo. A guy I follow on YouTube in his 60s said he replaced his 45-minute daily walk with 20 minutes of bodyweight squats, lunges, and push-ups every other day. 3 months in, his belly shrunk and he had more energy than he'd had in a decade. He laughed and said, "I didn't just lose my gut, I found my pep." So no, I'm not saying give up your walks. Keep those. They're gold. But add in some resistance moves. Even lifting your grandkid, your groceries, or your own body weight can turn things around. 4. Sleep is the silent saboteur. Sleep. Good old shut-eye. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? But the older we get, the harder it seems to come by, and the more it matters. I'll never forget the week I stayed at my daughter's house to help with the new baby. Beautiful little guy, but sleep? Gone. I was up every couple of hours. After 3 nights of broken sleep, I was a zombie, and by day 4, I found myself elbow deep in a bag of chocolate-covered pretzels at 9 a.m. That's when I learned something. When you're sleep-deprived, your body turns into a craving machine. There's science behind it. Your ghrelin, the hunger hormone, shoots up, while your leptin, the I'm full hormone, plummets. Add to that a hefty spike in cortisol, the stress hormone we talked about earlier, and your body starts stockpiling belly fat like it's preparing for winter. It's not just that you crave more food when you're tired, it's what you crave. Junk, sugar, carbs, stuff you wouldn't even glance at when well-rested suddenly looks like gourmet cuisine. I've heard seniors joke that after a bad night's sleep, they could smell donuts 2 blocks away. But here's what really blew my mind. Poor sleep doesn't just affect cravings. It slows down your metabolism. Your body starts to hoard calories, assuming you're in danger. Why? Because back in our caveman days, lack of sleep often meant something was wrong, like predators lurking or famine coming. Our bodies haven't caught up with the fact that now it's just Netflix keeping us up. One woman on a forum said once she started protecting her sleep like it was her job, bedtime at the same time each night, no screens an hour before bed, white noise machine humming. She lost 6 pounds in a month without changing her diet. Turns out her late-night munchies were entirely sleep-related. So if you're wondering why that belly won't budge, ask yourself this. Are you sleeping like a baby or tossing and turning like a caffeinated squirrel? Because when sleep falls apart, the whole body follows. 5. Hidden sugar is hiding in healthy foods. Now this one really gets me because I fell for it. Big time. It started with a trip to the grocery store after I decided to clean up my diet. Get serious, eat better, finally lose this dad bod. So I filled my cart with all the buzzwords. Low fat, heart healthy, organic, whole grain. Felt like a champ. But 2 weeks later, my belly was bigger. I actually gained weight eating healthy. Turns out, sugar is like a ninja. It hides in all the places you'd never expect. That yogurt with the smiling cow on the front? Packed with sugar. The granola bar with almonds and oats. Might as well be a candy bar in a different outfit. Even whole wheat bread can have more sugar per slice than a glazed donut. Who knew? And the worst part? That sugar doesn't just give you a quick blood sugar spike. It kicks your insulin into overdrive, and insulin's job is to store fat. Especially around your waist. One guy said it perfectly. I wasn't eating cookies. I was eating yogurt and cereal, but I was still getting the same gut as if I'd had cookies. He went cold turkey on added sugar for a month, and not only did his cravings vanish, his belly shrunk like a deflating balloon. Sugar is addictive too. The more you eat, the more your brain lights up and demands more. It's like a sweet-talking ex who keeps showing up just when you're trying to move on. Just one little bite, it says, and the next thing you know, you're knee-deep in healthy fruit juice that has more sugar than soda. Once I started reading labels, really reading them, I realized I'd been duped. I swapped the low-fat stuff for real whole foods. Plain yogurt with a few berries, eggs instead of cereal, cheese and nuts instead of granola bars. And slowly, the gut I thought was permanent started to retreat. So yeah, sugar's hiding in your pantry, smiling behind labels and health claims. But once you catch on, you take back control. And that feels better than any cookie ever tasted. 6. Sitting is the new smoking. Let me ask you something. How long have you been sitting today? It's a weird question, I know. But ever since I saw a post titled, "Sitting is the new smoking" on a seniors forum, I can't stop thinking about it. It's stuck in my brain like gum on a shoe. See, I always thought I was pretty active. I walked in the mornings, maybe did some gardening, stood in line at the pharmacy. That counted, right? Then I tracked it. Between breakfast, reading the paper, checking email, watching TV, and evening couch time, I was sitting for nearly 10 hours a day. 10 hours. My legs were basically in hibernation. And here's the kicker. When we sit too long, especially after meals, the body gets sluggish. Blood sugar stays elevated. Insulin hangs around longer. Calories don't get used. They get stored, right around the belly. It's like your body says, "Oh, we're not moving. Better save this for later." And that later turns into belly fat that refuses to leave. One guy shared that he set a timer on his phone to get up every hour and just stretch, walk around the room, or do a few squats. He said he didn't change anything else, still ate the same, still watched his shows, but just by standing up more, he lost a few pounds in a month. It's not about running marathons or doing jumping jacks during commercials. It's about breaking up the sitting. Our bodies were made to move, even a little. When we do, digestion improves, insulin behaves, and we burn just enough to keep that belly in check. Now, I keep a water bottle across the room on purpose, so I have to get up. I pace when I'm on the phone. I stretch during commercials. Is it glamorous? No. But it works. And honestly, it feels good to move. My joints thank me. My pants fit better. And my wife says I don't grunt as much getting out of chairs anymore. 7. Gut health equals belly health. More than you'd ever guess. Let me tell you about my neighbor Bill. He's in his early 70s, ex-Marine, tough as nails. But a few months ago, he started complaining about what he called his grandpa gut. Said no matter how hard he tried, cutting carbs, doing crunches, walking miles, it just sat there like a stubborn old dog. Turns out the problem wasn't what he was eating, but what his gut was doing with it. See, our gut is more than just a food tube. It's home to trillions of bacteria that basically run the show behind the scenes. These little critters, called the microbiome, help digest food, regulate inflammation, manage blood sugar, and even influence how much fat your body stores. And as we age, that inner ecosystem can go a little out of whack. Years of antibiotics, processed food, stress, and yes, even aging itself can reduce the good guys in your gut. When that happens, your digestion slows, bloating increases, and your body becomes more inflamed. And inflammation, my friend, is belly fat's best buddy. I read a woman's story on a gut health forum. She was in her late 60s and had been carrying extra weight around her waist despite eating clean. She started focusing on gut-healing foods, fermented veggies, kefir, a quality probiotic. Within weeks, the bloating eased up, her digestion improved, and she finally saw the scale budge. It's wild. We think gut health is just about bathroom habits, but it's directly tied to belly fat. When your gut is inflamed and imbalanced, your body holds on to fat as a protective measure. Fix the gut, and suddenly, your body breathes easier, and so do your pants. So yeah, I joke with Bill now and say, "How's your army of gut bugs doing today?" And he laughs because ever since he added sauerkraut and stopped nuking his insides with antacids, he swears his waistline's finally cooperating. 8. Alcohol equals liquid belly fat, even the healthy kind. Now, I'm not here to rain on anyone's happy hour. Trust me, I've enjoyed my fair share of evening whiskey or a glass of red with dinner. But if we're being real with each other, and I know we are, alcohol is sneaky. I used to think, it's just one glass, and wine's good for the heart, right? But my belly told a different story. And when I finally took a step back and looked at the science and the stories from real people, I realized alcohol might just be one of the biggest reasons belly fat sticks around after 50. For starters, alcohol is metabolized differently than food. Your body sees it as a toxin, so it drops everything else to process it. That means fat burning gets put on hold. And guess where your body likes to stash extra calories while it's busy? Yep, the old midsection. And don't even get me started on mixers, tonics, juices, sodas. Those things are just sugar grenades. One Redditor joked, "I quit drinking rum and coke and lost 5 pounds in 2 weeks. Turns out I was drinking dessert every night." Even if you stick to a neat pour or a glass of wine, there's another layer. Alcohol lowers your inhibitions. That's a fancy way of saying, suddenly chips at midnight seem like a great idea. One gentleman, a retired firefighter, shared that when he cut back from 3 beers a night to just 1 on weekends, his belly shrank almost like magic. "It was like I broke up with a clingy girlfriend named Budweiser," he said. "I'm not saying you have to quit entirely, but if your waistline has plateaued and you enjoy a daily drink, it might be worth doing a little experiment. You might be surprised how quickly your belly says, 'Thank you.'" 9. You might be eating too little. Yes, really. This one confused me for years. I thought, if I eat less, I'll weigh less. Makes sense, right? But after hitting a weight loss wall, eating salads until I could recite the life story of every leaf, I learned the hard truth. Eating too little can actually make you gain around the belly. Let me explain. Our bodies are smart. If they think a famine is coming, say you're eating 800–1,200 calories a day, like some extreme diets suggest, your metabolism hits the brakes. Your body starts conserving energy. Hormones shift, muscle mass drops, and fat sticks around for the ride, especially around the midsection. I once followed a strict low-calorie diet for 2 months, lost a few pounds at first, but then it all stopped. I was cold, cranky, tired, and yes, still rocking the belly. I didn't understand until I heard a dietitian explain it like this. Your body thinks it's being starved, so it slows everything down just in case you're lost in the woods. Even worse, when you finally do eat more, your body goes into storage mode. That's why yo-yo dieting is so damaging. A senior on a health forum shared that once she increased her calories slightly and added more protein and healthy fats, her belly actually shrank. "I was shocked," she said. "I thought eating more would make it worse, but my body finally relaxed." So yeah, if you've been stuck in eat less mode, try eat smarter instead. Focus on nourishing meals that keep your metabolism humming, not hiding under a rock. 10. Mindset matters more than we think. This is the one most folks overlook, but let me tell you, it's everything. When you believe you're too old to lose weight, or that it's just how aging works, your body listens, and not in a good way. I spent years fighting my body. I'd say things like, "Ugh, this belly's never going away," or "might as well get used to this spare tire." And guess what? Nothing changed. Because I wasn't trying anymore. I was just enduring. Then something shifted. I read a post from a 74-year-old man who said, "I lost 30 pounds after retirement, not because I went on a diet, but because I stopped hating my body and started working with it." That hit me like a ton of bricks. He talked about how he stopped punishing himself with workouts, stopped obsessing over food, and just started treating his body like a friend who needed care, not a broken machine that needed fixing. He walked more, laughed more, cooked at home, got better sleep. And the belly fat started melting away. I realized then, your thoughts drive your actions. If you believe you're stuck, you act stuck. But when you believe change is possible, your whole energy shifts. You show up differently. You eat differently. You move differently. One woman in my walking group said she started every day looking in the mirror and saying, "You're still in the game." Corny? Maybe. But 3 months later, she'd lost 12 pounds, gained confidence, and bought her first pair of jeans in years that didn't need an elastic waistband. So if your mind is stuck in "I'm too old" or "I've tried everything," maybe it's time to rewrite that script. You're not done. You're just getting started, with better tools and a whole lot more wisdom. Alright, so if you made it this far, first of all, props to you. That's already more commitment than most people give to their abs these days. But seriously, I hope you're walking away from this not just with more info, but with more hope. Because the truth is, gaining weight around the midsection in your 60s, 70s, or beyond isn't some punishment from the universe. It's not weakness, it's not laziness, and it's definitely not a you problem. It's biology, habits, hormones, and a handful of things that nobody ever taught us to pay attention to. But now you know. You know that sleep matters more than you ever thought. That gut health isn't just for people doing yoga on Instagram. That sugar's hiding in your healthy foods, and sitting is sneakier than a second helping of pie. And more importantly, you know that change is still possible. Not overnight, not with gimmicks, but with real lasting shifts that meet your body where it's at. So here's what I want you to do next. Drop me a comment below. Which of these truths hit home for you the most? Was it the hidden sugar trap, the mindset shift? Or maybe you've got your own story to share. Either way, I read every single comment. And I love hearing from folks who are walking this same road. And hey, if this video helped you out, do me a favor. Give it a like, share it with a friend who needs to hear this, and don't forget to subscribe for more honest, real talk videos about health, aging, and thriving after 60. Because we're not done yet. Not even close. Take care of that belly, but more importantly, take care of you. Catch you in the next one.